it's such a nightmare, you guys. The things I do for all of you. The things I do. Okay. I need to buy a new ring light, okay? Wow, today I want to talk about my favorite solds recently. I thought I'd share my favorite solds and where I found them. It's super exciting. I love doing these videos. I love sharing like where I found stuff, how I found it, how I turned it. So let's dive into some favorite solds. Now, there's probably gonna be a lot of reflection here, but I can't help that. So I'm just going with what I have, right? Okay, so first up we have a 1944 Agfa Twin 8mm triple S pan 25-foot reversible film in a box. So I'm going to give you the all-in prices, so that way it's just going to be easier, okay? Because it's got shipping in it, so just remember the shipping. This is a lightweight item, and I found this at a flea market on the dollar table, and I flipped it for $30.58. Okay, up next. Now, some of these are not like high dollar items, but I like selling things that are not high dollar items too, because, and honestly, I'd rather flip the things that are not high dollar items. We have a Best Grandma keychain vintage keyring knitting granny key tag. This came in a Goodwill box of jewelry. So hey, we'll take that, and I flipped it for $18.78 all in. Keep your eye out for these. These sell pretty good. And here is a spoon pewter numbered lighthouse brooch pen, and that sold for $43.86. And I think I got that in just one of my jewelry lots, probably a Goodwill jewelry box. Here's something I see in pretty much everybody's live sales. I don't know why. And here's a large shell disc pendant statement. Double beaded chain necklace, sold for $17.11. So it doesn't sell for a lot. However, if you buy a big Goodwill box and you get these in there, I mean, it's all just generated money, right? You know, you pay for your box and then the rest is just cash. Oy, all these reflections, I'm so sorry about that. Ugh. Maybe someday I'll get this right? Okay, and here is a Belle by Kim Gravel, 24 wide. Capri jeans. They're white capris. I actually hate selling white, but I got these in a box lot at an auction from this lady who bought a lot of QVC items. She bought a lot of QVC. And so I bought these at an estate auction and flipped these. So I think I paid like I think it came out to about $5 a piece. So it wasn't a big flip, but hey, it was a profit. It made some money. And actually, that's one of my favorite brands to wear. And here is a Cocktails and Dreams metal black wall hanging art martinis bar sign. And bar things usually do sell really good for me. They sell pretty quickly, and as soon as I listed it, sold $42.34 all in. And it was probably about this big. It was a larger item. I wrapped it in cardboard and I measured it for 18 inches, and that's what I was going for. Pirate ship to save money on shipping. Definitely, if you want to save money on shipping, use pirate ship. Americana, Eric Sloan, hardcover book illustrations, book Americana. Americana books usually do sell good. Reference books, things like that sell pretty well. $27.93, and I got these all for free. Here's a brooch pen. I bought bags of brooches. Actually, this is the bag right here. I'll show you. These bags. So I bought these full of brooches at an auction. I think I paid probably $30 for the bag, and I've been selling them like hotcakes. $23.26 for this tea time cup saucer new brooch pin. Blue white spoon, filigree dangle chains, and a lot of them were the same, which is really nice. So I could list multiples. Anytime I could get multiples, I try to flip them, especially for jewelry. I don't like doing clothing so much. I'm trying to get away from clothing a bit because there's a high return rate on that. So it has paid for itself over and over. And here is a pop-up hide and seek National Geographic Kids Forest Animals hardcover book. and it sold for $25.46. Now I bought this one at an estate auction, a live auction, and I cleared the whole wall of books. He said, "Jody, I know you like books. What do you want?" I said $1. And he goes, "Sold." And I was able to keep anything on the wall. I could have actually kept the bookcases even. However, I couldn't fit the bookcases. And that's the problem with doing like live auctions, like big auctions like that. You have to be willing to have room to take the stuff. So I didn't have room. I couldn't take the bookshelves, but it would have been really nice to have bookshelves. I definitely read a lot, and it would have been nice, or even to flip something like that, that solid wood. So that was a good buy. $25.46. I'm really bad at testing jewelry, so okay, so here's a silver tone, a blue enamel, mid-century modern vintage estate find, art deco style, sold for $32.85. Boy, I just got this in one of my local auctions that I buy jewelry from. And it was in there, listed, it sold pretty quickly. Now here's something I sell all the time. I mean, as long as I'm listing them, I'm selling them pretty quickly. And here's this antique vintage cream crochet handmade doily, so pretty. You could also add the word grandma core, because that's a very like in demand word to say. Doily pineapple square fan cross middle. So basically get your keywords in there. Otherwise you can add them in the item specifics, and that will also pull up during people's search. Sold for, are you ready for it? $71.02. $71.02. These hand crochet doilies sell really well. Actually, I just packed and sent one out today. Usually I pay $5 and under. I never pay more than $5 unless it's for myself. Oh, and I think I got this at a flea market or a auction. I'm not sure because I have quite a few of them that I have bought. So that's usually where I pick them up at. I'm going to guess this one was an auction box. I did buy an auction box of doilies and different linens for, I think, $6 a box, and I took all the boxes. Okay, here's a cast iron antique cow calf wiener clamp. Oh. Did I? Oh my word. Hopefully I spelled that right, but okay. When I put this in there, I didn't even realize what I was saying. A ring of primitive spikes. Farmhouse. Okay, but I'm not talking about like appendages. I'm talking about to wean your baby off of milk, right? Oh gosh. I did. Okay, hopefully people know what I was talking about, and it sold. And I bought this at a live auction. I bought a box lot for a couple of dollars at a live auction with Backyard Trucker and his dad. And we went to an Amish auction together, and I sold this for $52.24. Okay, and from my own closet is this DG2 Raspberry Comfort Waist. New cropped capri, size large. So these were just too big for me, and I never wore them. $23.40 was the price. I used to buy like HSN and QVC boxes to resell. And that leads us to the next one, which is if you can get pallets and you have room for pallets and you're able to do them. Now, I'm not doing them anymore because I'm getting older, okay? I'm almost 50. I don't want to be doing pallets anymore. And next up for 1988, it was a pallet of Macy's. And those pallets of Macy's are great, I have to say. I like the quality of Macy's. So, you know, I might consider doing a palette of Macy's again if I find them, but I'm not really looking. 1988 is this Karen Scott white comfort waist ribbed jersey. Cargo shorts, 24W. Okay. And this didn't sell for very much, but I'm glad it sold. And oddly, once I sold this one, I sold another one right away. Vintage West Virginia. Blooming Mountains. Okay, anyway, Thomas Jackson glass wood salt pepper shakers, and it said West Virginia on them. I did kind of shine a light through them because I thought it looked really pretty with the light shone through them. I have them both ways, and this one sold for $20.54. Okay, here's another palette lot, and it is fit for your hips. It looks like a QVC item, new black high neck, double tiered romper swimming suit. This sold for $74.66. Now, swimming suits do sell really well for me, especially if they are new with tags, new without tags. Not the smaller sizes, but the bigger sizes sell pretty good. Okay, and here's another one I always talk about are these church skirts. Okay, the secretary chic, cottagecore, boho style. These long skirts sell for really good. All in at $29.99, which is probably the lowest that I've sold them for. But I think this might have even been the last one. It looks like a size small. So yeah, I probably didn't care how much that one sold for either. Here's a Westport size small. I mean, hey, $29 for a size small. But it's the style. Look for these styles. They sell so good. Most of them flew out of my store. I think I listed them for like $35 and they were just flying out of here. And this is a floral layer maxi elastic cottage core maxi skirt. Make sure you use the cottage core or secretary chic in there somewhere, and they sell good. Okay, and here's another salt and pepper shaker. Vintage metal salt and pepper, 1950s, 50s style Oklahoma oil, Derrick's wood. Okay, so whatever words you see, just put on there. I'm glad some of these are selling because I bought a box lot that I will never buy again. I hate salt and pepper shakers. Now, sometimes if they're like the 50s and they're those cute little like kitschy cute kitchen chic things, I like those. But these were kind of boring. Good thing I had some that had like souvenir type places that people would visit. So for $23.36 this sold. I was so glad that these two sold because that paid for the box lot. And I'll never ever buy these again. And these sat for quite a while, I have to say. And then all of a sudden I sold one and I sold another and yay. Okay. Must be the algorithm working well. Now, I was at a live auction and like, you know, one of those pioneer homes, and I love going to those kind of auctions because they usually have a lot of old stuff. So here was a Scoville Manufacturing Company, 1850s. Now, just to give you a little hint, on the little lever on the side is usually the date of these. So look for the date. Sometimes they're kind of hard. You might have to get a flashlight and kind of shine it in there or tilt it towards the light a little bit and work it around. This was an 1850s antique oil lamp. See, starburst glass, kerosene. So on the bottom too, we'll have usually a pattern, and sometimes on the side, you want to look for those and put those key words in here. This one sold pretty quickly, and it sold for $214.60. This one is not a lot of money maker, but for $17.27, this one sold. This is a billiard men playing pool. Hall Saloon sepia photograph print. Now this is a print, so it's a reproduction of a postcard or a picture or something, and you know, they're pretty good sized. I think I have a couple left of these. I bought these at an estate auction. You know, $17.27, not bad for a piece of paper, especially a reprint. So I did put in the item specifics where I had gotten it from, so that might have triggered where I got that from. I'm not sure. Okay. And up next is this rhinestone clear rose gold tone fox large pearl brooch. I did put a SKU number, which I'm starting to do. I'm putting SKU numbers like in the titles because not only do I have a lot of the same stuff sometimes, which this one was, I bought a huge lot off an YouTube auction. I love YouTube auctions. And sometimes I'm just bored. Really, I'm just bored and I'm buying some stuff to resell. This one sold for $50.69. So I'm not sure how much I paid for this lot. I had a ton of them in there too. I might have paid about that much for the whole lot, but I started selling these right away, and they're just one of those things that you can list and walk away and they just keep selling, which is great. Up next is the stash that my husband had that I honestly, I'm like, come on, let's get rid of these VHSs. And I was going to donate them. And he goes, no, we can make money on them. I said, well, you list it then. So for $18.56 is this Digger VHS, 1995. And he didn't put any other information on it. He probably used, I don't know. I showed him how to list on his cell phone. And he did it. And I appreciate that. Okay. So here we have another piece of ephemera. I love ephemera. I love buying ephemera. I bought this, let's see, where did I buy this? Daytona Beach. I bought a box of photographs. This one was from the 90s. I had this one for sale. I did get a lot of really low offers. I listed it high because I did see another Hooters photo, and I think that one sold for, gosh, I want to say $200-300. So $86.59 for this photograph from the 90s from Hooters. If you see Hooters, pick them up. Put them in your basket. Okay, Hooters, Orlando, Florida, signed photo, 1990s. Birthday Polaroid, a restaurant card, Florida. I love going to Florida. And it's so much fun to go in a different state and pick up things from a flea market. And that's how I got this one. And it sat for a while. Like I said, I had a lot of offers. But I was waiting for a decent offer more towards what this other photo had sold for, if that made sense. Okay, I have to admit I'm bad. So this one, I sold this twice because I could not find it the first time because I was very unorganized with my postcards. And I had a postcard area, and then I had like an ephemera area, and then, oh my word. If you're gonna sell these postcards, make sure they're very organized. Keep all the postcards in one area. So I took all my postcards off and I went through them and reorganized them, gave them a new SKU number, 2141. And this is, I don't know what this says. If you look at the back of postcards, like vintage postcards, usually they'll have the photographer, where the postcard is or of, or a little bit of information of it. You can put like, talk about the stamp. I try to fill in as much as I can in those item specifics because things do pop up. 2141 is this Gamut Fisherman House, Norway vintage postcard. So not too bad. I think the first time it sold for more. Maybe this was even the same person. I don't know. Very nice person, like super, super friendly. And I was really happy and I was thankful it sold for the second time. And if it was you and you're listening, I'm really sorry about the first time. Okay, here I was bad again. Oh my goodness. I don't like buying lots of watches. You can replace the batteries. I don't want to take time with my items. I want to wipe it down or wash it, clean it, and list it. Here is a vintage Studio Time Japan bingo bracelet. Now these have been known to sell for more, but that's okay. I got this one of my jewelry lots. I think this was a Goodwill box, $23.45. Man, I've sold a lot, and I haven't been listing because it's summertime. I don't list a lot in the summertime because, you know, I'm doing yard work and housework and all that stuff, and I like to go out and have fun. I live here in Michigan, so I try to get out and enjoy the summers as much as I can. There's a Cabochon Gold Tone Nugget Holloway Regency style Fox Pearl Pendant necklace. This was actually very nice. I think I probably could have sold it for a lot more. $28.33 all in. Here is 3 G.I. Joes that have been to battle and back, and they were not in perfect condition anymore, but they're still to love. There's more to love with these cute G.I. Joes. Now on the back end of these G.I. Joes, if you pull their little pants down, okay, that sounds really weird. Okay, where am I going with this? Well, there is a date and what they are called on the back of their little tushies. So just take a little peek and put what you find in the description. And this is a Soldier Lot action figures read because one guy was in a battle and he didn't make it home all in one piece. So these were so cute. $54.48, and I was really happy to pass these on. I love selling vintage toys, and I enjoyed passing these on to somebody else that can either collect them or play with them. And you're saving it from the landfill, which is great. Okay, so I found that one off a YouTube auction. I bought a massive box of G.I. Joe stuff. I think I paid about $80, but it was a huge box of stuff. And I mean, it gave me so many things to list. And I don't think I have much less left, if any of them at this point. So I was really happy about that. And here for $81.31 is this Ducks Unlimited Pintail Duck Carving Collector's Stamp 1996 Professional Framed. So it's a really nice piece of art. Along with the other one, I bought all these pieces of art, which I usually like to do at a local online live auction. Does that make sense? Local auction. Live online? Okay. I think you get my drift. Okay, so that is going to do it for today. Just to give you a little peek of what I've sold that are my favorite items. Now these are only the things that are my favorites that I don't mind shipping out. Although the glass hurricane probably wasn't my favorite thing to ship out, but I was glad I sold it because it's a really, you know, it was a large antique. It was a pretty good size, and I think it was about 25 inches long. Here's my tip though, okay? Here is a really good pro selling tip for you. So the cost of sending the item, I think I charged about $24 shipping. The cost of shipping to California would have been around $130 because of the weight and size. It wasn't really that heavy. I mean, it was about 5 pounds or so. However, I was like, oh no, I thought I was going to have to cancel the order even. I'm like, oh no, because it was just a lot of shipping. But I use Pirate Ship, and if you can keep it under like so many inches, you can wrap them in a bag or even a garbage bag and tape it up on all sides. And that is what I did. So I was able to ship it within the price of what they paid for it, thankfully. I've always been able to find a different way or troubleshoot my way out of problems. And I was able to, you know, find a different way to ship it cheaper. You know, Pirate Ship works really good for that. So if you have eBay global shipping, you can ship globally for these things. You know, I ship globally all the time. I think that Norway postcard went out of the country. So keep that in mind. You know, use the global shipping for eBay if you're shipping with eBay, and use Pirate Ship if it's just a lot of money in shipping. It's a good way to not charge your buyer that price and save money yourself. You know, you always want to try to save the buyer as much money as you can for shipping, because, you know, hopefully they'll come back and buy from you again. And these are all really wonderful buyers that I just loved and appreciated. And some of them were so sweet and messaged me about how much they like their item, which melts my heart. That's why I keep selling on eBay. I also sell on YouTube sometimes, which I'm hoping to do more of because I have a massive stash of jewelry. I haven't gotten to listing, and as things are progressing here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to sell a lot on eBay and list things. With winter coming up, it's going to be easier. But I might start doing live jewelry auctions. I'm thinking maybe on Friday night. So keep your eye out. Let me know. Would you come to a live jewelry auction here on YouTube? I think it'd be fun. I love selling jewelry. I love jewelry. I love costume jewelry the most because I just think it's pretty, and you can wear the items without having to be too scared about, you know, losing it, which is nice. Okay, everybody, so go out, find some good stuff to list, or just look around your house and start listing it and selling it, or sell it on live auctions. It's fun. I like live auctions the most because I like hanging out with people and selling, but I also, you know, eBay has been my bread and butter for a long time now. So, okay, well, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a good day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment after, please. Have an awesome day. Oh, I gotta climb up here and shut this off. Ah!